Yes, we're about to get started. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Whoa, that's loud. There you go. That should be a little better. But it's Monday. Had a nice chill weekend, kind of. Well, I don't know if it's chill. We did one of our vacations yesterday. In 5 hours, we did a lot of stuff. But that's not really what we talk about here that much on this channel. That's for my other channel, which I'm going to start featuring a whole bunch of stuff on my other channel, Marty's Big Journey. But for today, we're just going to get caught up in some of the stuff that happened over the weekend. Because I didn't really pay attention to the news, so I checked out a few things this morning. We'll get to those and much more sometime after the intro. Johnny, you ready over there? So do me a favor and play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yes, that is me. And here's my real face. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we pay attention to the news and other things that happen in American and world cultures. We learn a lot here by just paying attention to what's happening as much as we can. So I'm still popping out the chats. That's why I'm not paying attention to you right now. We're going to have a good show as usual, but I don't know what's in it because I just kind of popped open a bunch of windows. So we'll see. Well, we'll find out. You'll find out just like we would for an omnibus budget from the U.S. Congress. It'll be kind of like that. We'll just you have to pass it to see what's in it, and then you find out what's in it. And you're like, oh my God, are you serious? Are these assholes are really doing that? So anyway, hope you're having a good morning. I am. I have my nice hot fresh cup of Reparations coffee in the Vienna, Austria cup. This is a super cool, funky cup, and yep, that's definitely coffee. So, let's get it started. First, we'll say hi and then just kind of wander our way through the news. First in the chat over on Rumble is Mr. Jimmy Das Hotep, who gets the bell and a little more. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Can we try that again? Good morning, Avocados Diabli. There we go. And also, Mike Savage, Blarg, and Next Gen Troll. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here over on Rumble. I'm sure some more people will eventually roll in there. I just want to make sure this is running on Rumble. Is this running on Rumble? Do I have to refresh probably? Oh, what the hell happened? Oh, goodness. Okay, there's my face. Good. It is running on Rumble. And there's 9 people watching over there, so I appreciate you. If you're watching on Rumble, just do a little shout out in the chat. I always curious who the other people. There's always like a bunch of extra people who you don't have to, even if you're watching on both Rumble and YouTube. In fact, I highly encourage you do that. Just open a window on YouTube or on Rumble and mute it if you want to watch on YouTube. But yeah, I'm trying to get my Rumble bona fides up there. So let's see what we can do. Over on YouTube, first in chat is our friend Somnambul Nation, who gets the bell. Good morning over there. Also, good morning, Don, Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man, Jimmy Das Hotep, Mike Savage, Blarg, Jonathan Peterson, Trippy Liberties in the house. Also, good morning to Avocados Diabli.
That's right.
Whoops. You got some mixed signals there. Also, good morning, Tyranius, Alexandris, the Invictus Lich. Here, let me just take a sip of coffee while that finishes up. Also, good morning, Thomas Cleaver, kapow! And Special K on Acid, Simon Wolfwood, Jen T. Maxey, another one of my Canadian favorites. Good morning, also Gulf City, Gulf City DCC, aka Blink 182. Man Squatch is in the house. Nice to see you. Attack Alpaca. Maddie's in the house. Also, good morning, Lord Stanhope. And I already said Simon Bush because you were here first. Those Ain't Real, Dude. How you doing? And fake news expert. A lot of people here today. Good morning, Sarah, Tyler F, Rotten Corpse, Swirly, woohoo, Steph Colonel. What's up, my friend? Another friend from Hotep Nation. Also, good morning to Anonymity T2. Welcome back. T2, is that like, am I going to have to worry about some like melty Terminator looking dude? I don't know. Also, hello, my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Pony's in the house. What's up, my brother? Okay, so that's everybody so far. Where's our pony? I don't know about the pony. What, did I assume his speech? Wait, what? What are y'all talking about? Does somebody have P-Daw's Rumble link? Here, I'll drop the Rumble link in the chat. Here we go. Here, I don't even know if YouTube allows this, but if you want to watch a Rumble, there it is. And join and share and whatever over there if you can. I appreciate it. As we are continuing, I'm going to start the show with a little Strong Dad June update as we continue to celebrate Strong Dad June. Yes. Now, look, I get it. The rainbow people are celebrating this month, but you can have more than one celebration a month. Not because I'm a dad and I'm not really a rainbow person. I'm like, okay, cool, rainbow people, have your day, but we're also sharing because this is Strong Dad June. It's Father's Month, Strong Dad June, and I like to say dad because anyone can be a father, but not everybody's a dad. Okay, not everybody's a dad. So, wait, what? My name begins with a T, but YouTube banned my first account for I didn't even know what this day to this day. I don't know what's this day, but T2 is just account 2. Well, you know what? It was a joke. I was thinking off the top of my head, and the first thing I thought of was Terminator 2. So from now on, you're the Terminator. There you go. You are the Terminator. Gotcha. All right. So anyway, I'm going to continue to have something each day in June for Strong Dad June. Today, I found an old article. This is from 2011. 2011. And I don't know if this would be allowed today because, things change so fast in this stupid world. But we have this article from Psychology Today on the importance of fathers. Now, I prefer to say dads because anybody can be a father, but not everybody can be a dad. You're a T1000. Well, there you go. There you go. I'll take that. But isn't T2 22? Gen T, the only gay people I will be giving my attention to are the gays against groomer types. And maybe Blair. Okay, I got you. I feel you. No, look, I don't care about, let me put this gently. Because I'm kind of milquetoast on a lot of things, and I don't care about the rainbow people as far as live your life. I'm fairly libertarian when it comes to that, but don't demand that I live your life. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm gonna and because I think my gay friends understand that. I'm me. Speak the language the way I speak it. But a lot of this, here's the thing, though. The gay people I know, they're kind of not into the T people. So maybe that's part of it, too, because I don't care. It's just weird to me that we spent a whole month celebrating who you're having sex with, because I don't really care. And look, heterosexual people don't celebrate the people they're having sex with. I get it, too, because, it was socially forbidden to be gay and out and stuff, and obviously we're long past that. So but I don't understand why we're spending a whole month on it. It used to be Pride Day, and everyone talks about this all the time. It used to be Pride Day, and then it was Pride Week, and now we've got a whole Pride Month. And in some municipalities, literally the entire summer is season of Pride. They deemed it the entire season. Now that would be a quarter of the year, And in reality, there was a poll taken lately, and about 7% of people are in the LGBTQ community, but they get a whole lot of ink and airtime and just everything is rainbows these days. And I'm here to celebrate fathers and strong Dad Jude. I've talked about that a little too long already. So let's get back to this article from Psychology Today on the importance of fathers. And this is someone, Dida M. Oliker, I don't know, from PhD from somewhere, The Long Reach of Childhood. She wrote a book called The Long Reach of Childhood. And she asked the question, is Father's Day real? Okay. Yeah, it will be the year of the rainbow. Oh, I'm sure the Chinese are going to come up with that soon. Oh, wait, no, the Chinese don't play that shit. Anyway, so here it is. The importance of fathers from Psychology Today. This is from June 23rd, 2011. So just almost 12 years ago. Okay. And let's see how much of this applies today, or how much would be, let's see, how much of the, okay, when I read something in this that you would say, this may not be allowed today, I want to put a bunch of twos in the chat. So just like this, bam. And that's what I want you to do. And you're just going to find out in a couple seconds why I did that, because I know my mouth is faster than my chat, or slower than my chat. But anyway, so if it's not allowed today, put a bunch of twos in the chat, and then I'm going to stop and ask what part would not be allowed. Here we go. Now this is now wait. Here we go. Text AG 007. How you doing? All right. Let's start this article, and when you see something that probably would not play well today as it would have 12 years ago, put a bunch of twos in the chat. Here we go. All right. The fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. Jeremiah, book 31, verse 29. Now, that was a practice one, because there it is right there. Bible verses are verboten! But here we go. This quote from the Bible represented the power of the father as the primary authority of the family for many centuries. His word was unquestioned, his decision final, his influence dominant in all matters relating to the family. What he was not seen as was a caretaker of children. That responsibility rested with or was vested in the mother or mother substitute. Now, she's talking about yesteryear, so it's not, you don't have to put some twos in for that, because we know that she's going to come up with some kind of, she's talking about yesteryear, and it's not so true today. Okay. So I get it. So, all right. The world began to radically change with the social, economic, and technical advances of the 20th century. And with those changes came a basic change in the structure and function of the family, with a consequent shift in the authority of the father. His influence was increasingly seen as minor, even negligible, and his importance was defined by how well he provided for the family. Didn't say birthing, but oh man, this is going to get long, isn't it? 222, the father is the primary authority. Yes, okay, yeah, and I'm sure she was going to have a but there. Now, another factor in the diminished role of the father was the then new field of psychology. In fact, psychology became part of the problem. Yes, it has. Research studies did not place much importance on the role of the father, and his influence on the development and growth of his child was reported as, quote, insignificant, end quote. The term, quote, parent, end quote, was often meant as mother, and father, if mentioned, was equivalent to other influences. Oh, wait, the term parent, okay. Only a small number of parent-child studies investigated the father's role, and then the few studies that were done at the time focused on the father's involvement as reported by the mother. For example, in a number of studies that used over 2,000 parents who responded to questions about parenting, not one father was interviewed. What? That's crazy. That's crazy. In an indirect an indirect result of the lack of research data on fathers was the implied assumption that they weren't interested in fathering. The pendulum of the father's influence swung so far that the verse would have read, "The fathers have eaten a sour grape," and that had influence on the mothers who chose not to offer them to children. So deferring only to mothers, I guess. Now, the pendulum began to slowly swing back in the 70s with newly designed studies beginning to support the impact of fathers. That change influenced me as a graduate student at the time to risk doing my PhD thesis on father-son interactions and how those interactions may actually be an important influencing factor in an adolescent son development. Now, that's crazy. I don't even remember this because I was already growing up and already had the influence of father in my life, and the idea that she had to do something almost revolutionary by studying this. History is racist now. Good. And 2 for math. Okay. Anyway, now, fortunately for me, my study did find positive results. Oh, is she shocked by that? That's weird. Of a father's influence on the moral reasoning of an adolescent son, allowing me to graduate on time. Well, good God, thank goodness for her that she graduated by doing this project. These days, neither the general public nor psychological researchers see the father as an equivalent to other influences. The professional journals, as well as the internet, are filled with articles reporting results confirming the importance of fathers. But, hey, that's good. Good morning, Nomad. I see you there.
Stop. Hammer time.
Okay. So, what does the research say these days? Now, granted, this is in 2011. I'm curious if the research is consistent with today. So, according to a report in Fathers and Their Impact on Children's Well-Being, this is a quote, "Even from birth, children who have an involved father are more likely to be emotionally secure, be confident to explore their surroundings, and as they grow older, have better social connections." Hello, Sarah. How you doing? The way that fathers play with their children also has an important impact on the child's emotional and social development. Fathers spend a higher percentage of their one-on-one time interactions with infants and preschoolers in stimulating and playful activity than do mothers. From these interactions, children learn how to regulate their feelings and behaviors. Children without involved caring fathers also have a better with involved caring fathers also have better educational outcomes. The influence of a father's involvement extends into adolescence and young adulthood. Numerous studies find that an active and nurturing style of fathering is associated with better verbal skills, intellectual functioning, and academic achievement among adolescents. Now, what is the reality these days? There's no question that fathers do play an important part in their children's lives. A majority of studies affirm that an involved father can play a crucial role, particularly in the cognitive, behavioral, and general health and well-being areas of a child's life. Having a positive male role model helps an adolescent boy develop positive gender role characteristics. Adolescent girls are more likely to form positive opinions of men and are better able to relate to them when parented by an involved father. It is generally accepted under most circumstances that a father's presence and involvement can be crucial to a child's healthy development as a mother's, and experiencing validation of their importance in the general parenting literature has made fathers much more conscious of their value, which in turn leads to their greater desire to be involved. Hey, now it's interesting because last week I went through a couple of these, kind of lists of the importance of being a father or whatever, and they mirror what this is saying. So this is good. 222, lactating fathers promote more inclusion. No, it doesn't. No. Anyway, but there is still a wide gap between research results and the true acceptance of the value of fathers. I agree with that. There's still some people out there like, hey, you don't need a man. Yeah, you don't need a father. Yeah. With many fathers expressing the feeling that they continue to be second-class citizens in the world of their children. Books, magazines, and morning television shows are filled with information about and for mothers and mothering. How many comparable ones have you seen about fathers? Well, first of all, most fathers aren't sitting around watching morning television shows. Anyway, It's only recently that domestic courts, recognizing the research on parenting and fathers, have moved to greater equal child custody decrees, long overdue. Fathers who want to become more actively involved in their children's lives often hit barriers from employers, the media, and even their wives, who may feel threatened by a child calling for daddy instead of mommy. Yeah. I'll deal with these barriers in greater depth in forthcoming blogs, as well as issues relating to the absent fathers, the alienated father, and the divorced father. We will know we've reached equal parity when Father's Day becomes as well celebrated as Mother's Day. So that's today's Strong Dad Jude. What do I call that? Not offering. Thank you. Offering. That is today's Strong Dad Jude offering from Psychology Today. Dr. Oliker. I still can't figure out what that says, or Olker or something like that. So from 2011. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. 222, first rule on how to be a good parent. Do not read or watch anything about how to be a good parent. And then father as the primary authority, right on. Jen says, oh, me too. If I like a person, it's usually because I like their character. Have no shit about what you do. And we're back on that. Okay, so that's our offering today. Let's get into some of the things that are trending in the world and happening in the world right now. Now today, I see tall person is not here, so I will give you today's special day of the whatever the day is, and that would be World Environmental Day. Today's World Environment Day. Now that I don't know how that compares to Earth Day or other days, but apparently someone over in India graciously planted a sapling at Sagaduri Sanandini as part of Isha Outreach target to plant 10,000 trees in Chikaballapur this year on the occasion of World Environment Day. So apparently they're going to, I don't know if I'm assuming that's India. What is that? Anyone recognize this statue at all? I don't know where that's from, but it seems to be in India. Or maybe Sri Lanka? No, I'm not sure. I always get anyway, people stress different things depending on what the parent sees a child need. Oh, yeah, right. So anyway, and World Environment Day. Maybe that's a big thing in other countries. I had never heard of it until today. I am an integral part of our precious environment. I promise to protect it. I know it will protect me in return. Okay. Wear natural fiber like cotton and silk. Use cloth bag. Why does that have to do with World Environment Day? Don't you have to grow cotton? It doesn't. Drink from a copper bottle? Small steps lead to big changes. Let's start by avoiding single-use plastics. Oh, single-use plastics, I see. Yeah, I have a cousin who is really, 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 almost to the point, obsessive about plastic. She hates plastic. She doesn't like single-use plastic. She uses reusable everything, and she is single-handedly trying to save the planet from plastic. Okay. Plastic has saved a lot of the lives of the world, but I can see if you can find ways to do it that aren't inconvenient. Sure, why not? So, thank you, by the way, everyone tweeting out the show. Let me just do some thank yous real quick. Thank you to the Raven. Now that's a new person who tweeted out the show, just retweeted in the show. Thank you. I think Maddie too. Thank you very much. Look like Jabari, isn't that? Jabari, are you here? I don't see you yet, but if you're here, thank you for retweeting my tweet. Jimmy Das Hotep, Hotep Jesus, Tyler F, and Sarah all retweeted the show this morning. I see Brody also retweeted it. Thank you, Maddie, for tweeting out the show yourself. Jimmy Das Hotep, Somnambul Nation, all of you. That helps the show greatly, and I appreciate it very, very much. So thank you to all of you. You are awesome people. All right, next, let's Walsh is trending. Now, for the last several days, any iteration of what is a woman or Matt Walsh or whatever is trending. And so a lot of people are talking about Matt Walsh still. And so I just go into the trend bot here. Now, obviously I put Walsh in the name of the title, but here, Billy Bragg, this is one of the adult human female advocate, as far as what is woman. Now she says, when I'd only watched Walsh take down gender cultists, I quite liked him. He's funny. He was on point. Whilst I knew he was critical of feminism, I didn't realize how deep his resentment went. I am constantly in awe of Victoria Smith, but if I did not appreciate the brilliance. Let's see what this says. The brilliance of this piece last year. Okay, so this is someone who's a critic of Matt Walsh mansplaining. So here's the thing: a lot of the gender critical feminists are critical of Matt Walsh because Matt Walsh has kind of discovered this I don't know a better word than a crusade on the on trans people kind of taking over the role of women, or the name, even the word woman, and taking over the language, right? And so Matt, when he first put this movie out a year ago, he kind of started like taking credit, wondering, well, where are all the feminists talking about this? Where are the women not talking about this? And there have been plenty of the gender critical crowd women talking about this for several years, as long as I can remember back in when I first started YouTube in 2016. There were plenty of gender critical feminists who were talking about this, and one of my favorite was Madeline. God, what was Madeline's last name? She passed away too. She died of brain cancer. But there are several. There were several of them out there, but people weren't necessarily listening to them. There's the YouTube crowd that kind of talked about it and talked about the trans thing because there's, the SJW wars and shit like that. But Posey Parker, yeah, Posey Parker's been around for a long time, right? There's a lot of them. So there is some people critical of Matt Walsh, okay? And also some of the things that Matt Walsh said does not please them. For example, here's one of them. Taking advantage of a drunk girl is not rape. Pressuring someone to sex isn't rape. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't always mean no. If the left had its way, then half of the sexual encounters of my life would be considered sexual assault. Well, that didn't go over too well. I know exactly what he's talking about, though. But anyway, so a lot of people talking about Matt Walsh. And here's what. Here's a video on Matt Walsh, anti-trans politics, and where to spend your energy on trans rights in general. How the tasteless, talentless Matt Walsh became popular. So anyway, a lot of people talking about Matt Walsh because of what is a woman. So, and I don't know what that is. That has nothing to do with Matt Walsh. So anyway, that's why that's trending, because they put the movie out on Twitter. A lot of people are now you can basically see it for free on Twitter. You just got to find someone who's reposted it. So that's why he's trending. Let's see what else is going on here. Also, the President of the United States, Magdalene Birds. That's what I meant. Yes. Avocados Diabli. Magdalene Birds. She, and look, and she was kind of in that, I would say she hated men, but she didn't like men. She's actual radical feminist, right? Who was extremely critical of this growing trans movement that she saw at the time. And I actually had some interactions with her. Just nice woman. I mean, my interactions I had with her were pleasant, even though we did not agree on certain things. But I totally agreed with her on her views on the kind of displacement of women by the trans crowd. And it's funny because I was watching, I don't remember the guy's name, but he had a good point. It's interesting how, masculinity, okay, these days, masculinity is considered bad in men, but it's kind of a virtue if you have masculine women, right? And femininity is looked down upon as far as women go unless you're a trans woman. Now how does that work? How is that working out right now? Steph, low pressure women for, oh, gotcha. Can a woman rape a man? If that isn't possible, then could all supposed racists claim they were women at the time? Well, maybe. Oh, Uncle Bobbity. Uncle Bobbity just subscribed. I thought you were already subscribed, Uncle Bobbity. What the hell? Are you even here? I hope so. So anyway, the President of the United States has jumped into the fray on Pride Month by tweeting out something, at least his staffers, tweeting out LGBTQI plus rights are human rights. Okay. I got a question. I absolutely have a question because I want to know when people say, especially with trans rights or LGBTQ rights. Okay. When you say that, what do you mean? What do you mean LGBTQI rights? What rights are you talking about? What rights that trans people have? Or what are these trans rights that are human rights? That because if they're human rights, they would kind of apply to everybody, right? But what are you asking for when you're asking for trans rights? No one gives a really good answer for that. You know, they might talk about, you should have the right to just live in peace and go to that. Okay, yeah, you're right. I agree with that. But, and you should never say but I did. Does that mean a male has a right to participate on a sports team that is specifically designated for females? Okay, notice I used the sex and not the word that generally in my dialect is the equivalent to sex, is a synonym for sex. Okay, female and women are equivalent in my dialect of English. Now I get it. Other people say, oh no, they're different. One is a gender and one is a sex. Well, no. See, gender is just a linguistic thing, right? It's just a linguistic thing for people that have the traits of sex, women, but they're the natural traits. When I'm in my, oh my goodness, the gayest person on YouTube is back. What's up? I haven't seen you forever. We're always talking about LGBTQ rights, but I think we should be focusing on LGBT wrongs. Oh, damn. Welcome back, by the way. Nice to have you back. So I just don't understand, especially, again, like the LGBTQ rights. What do you mean by that? What specific things? Are all of the things that they're asking for, are they necessarily basic human rights? The right to be delusional, the right to be narcissist, the right to meltdown. Anyway, so my friend, blue collar intellectual, said human rights are human rights. They apply to all people equally. Neither party respects the rights of those they dislike or disagree with. Neither party respects civil rights, natural rights, property rights, privacy, or personal rights of individualism and voluntary association. That's a big one. You know, that's the one thing. It's interesting. You know, when they talk about the First Amendment and they like to talk about the freedom of speech one, right? And they like to talk about the freedom of religion, which some people think it's the freedom from religion, but no. But they always forget about that freedom of association. They always forget about that part where, you know, if you say that, no, so-and-so, someone can't be in my club. No, the federal law is going to come down on you and hammer you in the head, and then the states are going to come down and hammer you in the head, and you must allow this thing, person, whatever, to come and be associated with you. But that's one of the most forgotten parts of the First Amendment, the freedom of association. So that's fascinating I'm glad he included that one. Neither party accepts limitations on their own authority or power. That is true, and I'm not happy with anyone who's in our Congress right now, because they seem to forget about that part. What about the freedom of conglomeration? I have no idea what the hell you're saying. Good morning, GDSOB. So anyway, Which pride option do you support most? A pride month, a pride year, a pride day, or none of the above? Oh, this is a poll. I'm going to link this poll in the chat so you can vote in the poll if I can figure out where the hell this thing is. Hang on here. If you want to vote in this poll. Look, I have no problem. Here, there's the poll for the Twitter poll. I have no problem if people want to have I'll put Pride Day. Let's see what the results are. Ooh, 65%, none of the above. Yeah, because look, here's the thing. Again, it's come to the point where Pride Month is, well, I guess you're talking about the LGBT. I'll get that. Pride Month is kind of just overkill. Anyone? Overkill? You know what I mean? What does Sarah say? Sarah, I can't find it. It's just, anyway, please define what queer is. Queer rights. Yeah, what? Yeah, and here's the other thing. So, queer is kind of a weird umbrella term, right? Because like all the non-binaries, for example, are consider themselves queer, or all the weird, it's like fetishists, whatever. Anyone who has weird hair can call themselves queer. You don't have to really be anything to be queer, right? Well, what rights do queer people need that they don't have? What rights do hello Logan F. What rights what are the rights that you're asking for? Okay? Now granted, one of the big ones is the trans women want right to be in women's spaces. But when we've segregated women, the traditional, my dialect version of women, which is the same thing as sex, I get it. Not everybody speaks that way, but that is my dialect. And please don't ask me to speak outside of my dialect. But I am acknowledging there is another dialect that's woman is kind of a feeling and not a thing that's, that has some empirical data to it, right? But when they say that the people who are not female, women, sex, want to be in spaces that are reserved for people that are women, female, sex, right? Why do you think that you have a right to be in that space? Because you say that you are a woman? Because you feel like you're a woman? What does it feel like to be a woman? I don't know. What does that mean? What does that mean? How does anyone who is a male know what it feels like to be a woman? You must, maybe you just watched too much Romper Room and you have a really good imagination or something. Romper Room. I'm not sure everyone remembers that. I know some of you here are old enough to remember Romper Room. But anyway, I don't get it. I don't get it. So someone says it's just propaganda for mean rights. Yeah, because, Brad Estrada, who is gay and a Republican, he's on the right. Please define what a queer right is and how it is being infringed upon. Please also explain how the intersex community's rights are being infringed upon. I don't know. Don't know. Let's see. NYC LGBT join us in this fight against the radical left LGBTQI+. Interesting. So he's got an event coming up. So anyway, thank you, President of the United States, for having your staffers tweet for you, because I don't think he ever really tweets himself. You can tell when it's him, really, because he doesn't have very many deep thoughts. All right, next, and since we're on this line of thought, Dylan Mulvaney is trending. Now, this is because this Dr. Ahmad Malik decided to tweet this out saying, is this person a woman? Feel free to answer it in the chat if you'd like. Is this person a woman? Young Mr. Mulvaney, who plays a woman on the internet. So now there's a lot of different responses to this, 6,904 to be exact at this moment in time. But this one is the one that got a lot of attention because this is it's not even a doctor. This is Matilda Jane. I don't know who Matilda Jane is, but she has, I don't know who she is. She didn't have that many followers, but her response got a lot of attention because she said a medical professional tweeted this Suppose it says a lot about how you treat your patients. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. How would that? No. It brought up an interesting topic because should a medical doctor defer to what people think rather than what their physiology shows? Because a doctor, it's very important for a doctor to understand your physiology to be able to help you stay alive. And so I don't know that now again, we're talking maybe semantics or dialect or different ways of speaking. My favorite sports people bio, red flags. There you go. Is her favorite sports team in her bio? Oh my God, it is. There's some red flags in a lot of these bios. If you see pronouns or favorite sports teams, name some of the other red flags in Twitter bios in the chat. So anyway, some people are saying, are you shocked that a medical professional would know the difference between male and female? And this Matilda Jane says, I'm shocked that someone would plainly state in their bio that they're transphobic as if that's something to be proud of. Now, I don't think Dr. Malik does that in his bio. He says, an honest surgeon advocating for medical ethics, freedom of speech, and good health. Host of the Daily Malik podcast. Views are my own. Okay, she wasn't talking about Dr. Malik. She was talking about the person who replied, who has a name, female mom, and then says, believer in biology, follow anybody from all sides apart from trans activists and communists. Oh, damn. Good for her. Anyway, so she's mad Matilda got mad about that. And, probably treats his patients based on biology. That's a relief. Yes. This says we need more medical professionals to tweet the obvious and what they were taught in med school. Yes. But then here it is. Yes, it says he's not an ideologically captured cultist who pretends there's no biological differences between men and women. Yes. But there's a lot of people who are not happy with what he said there. Let's see. Oh, that's Billy Bragg. What a tosh. I need a doctor who will save my life, not one who will lie to me. Oh, snap. Female is okay, then someone down here said, oh, this is Cleo. Now, this is the one that I wanted to respond to. So this is what I wanted to get to. So Billy Bragg, this is Serena Patrick, says, what a tosh. Now, I'm not sure what a tosh is. That's some kind of English slang. Who are the people who understand what a tosh is? Please help me out in the chat. Says, I need a doctor who will save my life, not one who will lie to me. Oh, exactly. Encouraging delusional thinking is dangerous and cruel. To which Cleo here replied, quote, female is a biological status that some, not all doctors, need to know in some, not all circumstances. Woman is a social and personal construct. Trans people are not delusional just because our beliefs are different from yours. Now, the thing that her answer, nothing about her answer is really surprising to me because, sex is different than gender, right? But what really jumped out at me about this answer when I read it the first time was in her second statement. Woman is a social and personal construct. Now, that's not the part that got me, but to me, it's kind of false because it's always been based on sex. Our language made woman and female synonymous for a long time, at least with adult human females. But that's not the part that jumped out at me. Hang on, I'm getting there, I promise. Then she says, trans people are not delusional because our beliefs are different from yours. Now, shall we analyze that statement? Because in Miss Cleo, not the psychic Miss Cleo, but in Miss Cleo here's bio, she says that she is a math teacher, a progressive, opinionated, I speak only for myself, they, them, pronouns in the bio. Now, again, Steph, give us that pronouns in the bio thing with the little flaggies. Hello, Uncle Bobbity. How you doing? Now, but wait, let's go back to this. Opinionated, I speak only for myself. They, them. Now, let's read that sentence again with that in mind. Trans people are not delusional just because our beliefs are different than yours. Our. They, them, I speak only for myself. My question to Cleo is, when you say our, do you mean individually or you collectively? Now, she replied to me. She said the meaning is clear from the context. No, it's not. No, it's not. And in fact, let's fix this right now. I'm going to, let me get to Miss Cleo's bio here. Open the link in the new tab. Here's her bio. Okay, and we're gonna reply to Miss Cleo. Let's get a little reply to Miss Cleo here. Okay, I'm gonna do a little copy of her bio here because I'm gonna explain to her why this is not that easy. Let's highlight the couple things here. We're gonna highlight I speak only for myself, and I'm gonna they them. Okay, now we'll just copy that. We're gonna go back and paste it. No, I don't need to save that. I don't care. Don't need her bio open. Let's see what she says to this because I'm curious. Is it? It is not clear from the context because I only speak for myself, they, them, our. If you're they and them, then you must speak about yourself as our. Ding. Let's see how she comes back with that. That'll be interesting. I'm curious now. It's curiouser and curiouser as is that the Winnie the Pooh thing? That's what Winnie the Pooh says, right? It's curiouser and curiouser. So anyway, that's why Dylan Mulvaney's trending. Thousands of people have replied to that, and most of them are probably haters who are like, well, I'm going to say half are haters that hate Dr. Ahmad Malik, and I'm sure the other half are people who are like, fuck no, he's not a woman. All right, next, let's move on. Oh, Alice in Wonderland. Is that? Oh, yeah. Alice. I knew it's something like that. Giant Asteroid 2024. Yes, I'm not so sure that I would not vote for the sweet meteor of death again in 2024 like I did in 2016. Although I think we need to get somebody to get the Democrats out there. At this point, I don't care which Republican. I don't care. Get them out and let's stop this nonsense. Although the Republicans aren't that much better. Anyway. So that's why Dylan Mulvaney is trending. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next thing that's trending. Also related to Pride Month, the LGB is trending. But no, I just said the LGB, as in without the T. There's plenty of people in the LGB community who are kind of like, these people are making us look bad. So here's this, the LG, this is right here, the top of the thing. The LGB needs a DIVORCE. Is that the Sammy Wynette song? Who sang that? Was that, any country music fans here? DIVORCE. That was a country song at one time. So shocking, I know, yet there it is. The LGBT crowd doesn't like you shoving your ideologies down everyone's throats either. Here it is. LGB United. This might be the best Pride Month ever. It's only day two, and the trans fascists are shocked at the sheer number of LGBs coming out to support our inevitable divorce from the TQ plus crowd. We warned you, TQ plus. You continue to insert your ideology in spaces where nobody want it. Bye, girl. Yes, good for them. Tammy Wynette. Yes, that was the Tammy Wynette. What about Batman? Okay, I don't know. Winnie the Pooh says think. Okay, yeah, it's Alice in Wonderland, curious. So anyway, the TQ plus is dragging the LGB down. They harass us over having genital preferences and not wanting to date them. This is the University of Liverpool. Genital preferences are transphobic. Okay, if that is the definition of, if that's one of the definitions of transphobic, okay, I guess I'm transphobic. I'm sorry, and I'm not even of the LGBT people, you know. But look, I'm not interested in. Well, I'm happily married, but if I wasn't, I wouldn't. I don't want to play with your woman dick or whatever, your girl dick. And so anyway, the trans rights activists are the absolute worst. They are the greatest danger to children and the LGBT. Look, a trans activist makes when they're trying to figure out how to say. Oh, good God! Now look, hang on. Okay, let me come back up here. I'm going to acknowledge the very important two words that probably should be included in this. Not all, okay? Not all the trans people are sexually grooming a child, but some are. And I don't necessarily mean sexually grooming your child to be a sexual, piece of their lives. But I think what it is in the zeal to become accepted, right? They're pushing this ideology through the kids because if the Democrats learned this a long time ago. If you can get the kids to just make this part of their core beliefs, then everything down the line becomes more accepted. You see that a lot in Gen Z, right? Although there's a lot of people in Gen Z, a lot of kids in Gen Z, not all, but there's a lot of kids in Gen Z who are beginning to rebel against this stuff. Or I've seen interviews where kids, like in younger kids, say, yeah, they teach us in school. And it's really dumb. But to get a good grade, we have to play along. But when this happens, we all just roll our eyes. And there's another factor to this, right? What is something that, because I think it's really being pushed by the millennials, right? Not so much that they participate in it much, but they're really pushing it as far as the educational process, right? Well, what is something that young kids tend to do when it comes to the generation before them? All kids who are the next generation, what do they tend to do with the generation before them? They rebel. And many of the Gen Z kids, not all, because we still have the Harry Sissons of the world, right? Who's, he's just a shill for Democrats. So a lot of kids rebel from their parents. And also a lot of kids are like, this is so stupid. This doesn't make any sense. Because look, kids can see what's before their eyes. And kids tend to be very truthful. So even when you see the little kids talking about, well, some people can be a they, but are you a boy or a girl? I still don't understand, because they get it, right? They get it. So, or they go to or more extreme. Yeah, they do. But I think a mass majority of kids are just going to be like, I hear what you're saying and I'll play along, but this doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. Rebel, it's a mess. So anyway, so there's a whole thread on LGBT. Now this is interesting. This is interesting because this is that same topic. Senator Scott Wiener from California, the guy who writes the worst bills and gets them passed in California to make California the scariest state to live in if you're a parent. So here he wrote a thing. The bigots keep saying that it's just about the kids. That's never what it's been about for them. They want us gone, all of us. That's why their bans on gender-affirming care for kids quickly morph into bans for adults. That's why images like these are proliferating. What's kind of strange about this, though, a lot of times you see the rainbow flags being burned by gay people because they're sick of it too. It's just crazy. So it's amazing what happens to the LGBT people when you allow a bunch of homophobic TQ plus people, heterosexuals, into our movement, isn't it? Our reputation gets destroyed. If only there was a way of working out why. Yeah. So anyway, you can check out more in this thread of the LGB. Now, it's also trans is trending. Now, maybe it's just because people are talking about this a lot. It's the Pride Month has taken over everything. Bad Amazon reviews from trans activists who have never bought my book yet come to the same conclusion about the books. This is Ashley St. Clair, who wrote a children's book. If you want a children's book to combat the transgender propaganda being pushed on our kids, get my book, Elephants Are Not Birds. You know, for a while, Matt Walsh had a book. I can't remember what it's called, but it was the top selling book in the LGBTQ plus category for children on Amazon, which, first of all, why is there a LGBTQ plus children's category on Amazon? That's what I'm really kind of worried about. But anyway, so Ashley St. Clair wrote a book called Boys Are Not Girls, or not Boys Are Not Girls, Elephants Are Not Birds. And it's been getting a lot of angry reviews. Here's an example. This is a good review. Hang on. There's a couple angry reviews. Transphobic book for transphobic families. Okay, 1 star. Probably never read it. I'm guaranteeing they didn't. Don't subject your kids to this trash. Find a better author. Anyway, but here's one. Let's see. Be who you were made to be. Love yourself. This book speaks solid truth to our kids and encourages them to be who they were made to be. I highly recommend Brave Books. I love that it teaches lessons and morals that children can apply to life. I have children ranging from ages 8 to 14. Every morning our family reads a picture book together. That's kind of weird. Every morning, 8 to 14? I would do it in the evening before bed because that's more convenient, I think. Although it's easier to get everyone together in the morning because you just wake up the teenager who's still sleeping. I have to re-listen. Yeah, you have to listen because your 8-year-old sister needs to read this book too. Anyway, our family reads a picture book together. With such an age gap, you can imagine there's a lot of mixed reviews. However, they love Brave Books so much they request them over any other books. And recently they told me their favorite part of the day, it's their favorite part of the day. Well, good. I think families should always read together, especially when they're younger. Like, you know, even before they can speak, it's important to read your kid's book because that's how they get a larger vocabulary. It's funny. It was like I think it was my daughter's, was it 18-month check or 2-year check? It was when she was getting a vaccination. And we read to our daughter constantly, even before she could talk, and to a point where she was beginning to be able to read like at a very crazy young age. But she was getting a vaccination, right? One of her, I think, 18-month vaccination. And they gave her the shot, and you know, my wife's there holding her and comforting her, and she just like, Mommy, I need Tylenol. And the doctor looked at my wife. And she goes, did she just say, I need Tylenol? She used a 3-letter word in context, or 3-syllable word in context. And he was freaked out because, you know, we used baby Tylenol when she had a fever once, and she remembered that. And also, whatever. So anyway, that was just weird. So read to your kids is the moral of the story. All right. So anyway, enough about this. Ashley St. Clair showing some of the people angry reviews of her book. But anyway, trans is trending because it's whatever, Rainbow Month. And of course you saw the little, let's see, at a Boston's family-friendly trans resistance march over the weekend, a Boston Medical Center table gave out snacks and dildos. At the Boston Medical Center table at a family-friendly trans resistance march over the weekend, Boston Medical Center, the Boston Medical Center, and I took it off the screen so you wouldn't have to see a bunch of fake dicks, but gave out snacks and dildos. Family friendly. Perfect. Oh my goodness. Oh no. What is this? You know who Riley Gaines is, right? She's the swimmer who was had to swim against what's his face? So a Trump influencer cheering for a trans-identified male to beat the shit out of Riley Gaines because she endorsed DeSantis. This is truly disgusting, but pretty on brand for them these days. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Riley Gaines has endorsed Ron DeSantis for president, and someone threatened to beat the shit out of her for it. So anyway, it was only. Oh, this is a good follow if you're on Twitter. boysversuswomen.com and it's Boys Versus Women, the Twitter handle. Talking about trans athletes, it was only during our first competitive match that I realized how unfair it was. We beat the team we were playing 6-2, and the trans woman scored all 6 goals. They were banging in goals from parts of the pitch I couldn't even have attempted, and somebody anonymous. So she's complaining about trans athletes allowing. I'll pop that article in the links today, but I'm not going to go through it. Probably because it's going to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to post me in the archive. Oh no, it's not. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'll give you an archive version. Just a second here. There we go. Oh, this is this is an interesting article, actually. Let's look at we'll start at the beginning of this. Allowing trans athletes to compete as women is a throwback to the dark ages of misogyny. Oh, ouch. 3 female sports competitors open up on how they really feel competing against trans women and the fears of abuse that kept them quiet. By the way, did anyone see there was some soccer competition across the pond, or on our side of the pond, if you from that side of the pond. And it was like a men's team of retired players, somewhere in upwards of 45 and 50 years old. And they played a team that consisted of recent U.S. national team members, right? And they played the first 40 minutes, and then they ended the game. I guess it's like a 10-run rule in baseball, I guess. But I think it was in 20 minutes of play, the men's team was up 12-0. Or something like that, or 7-0, and then they only played part of the first half of the thing, and they ended it because it was just a slaughter. I mean, it was not even funny. They were like scoring because a good soccer game, there's usually the score is like 1 or 2 to nothing or 2 to 1 or whatever. Maybe a high scoring game's 5-2. It was 12 to nothing. They got crushed. They got crushed. But anyway, here it is. The question of whether trans athletes should compete at female races and play in women's leagues has been one of the most bitterly fought battles of an already fraught gender debate. In March, world athletes controversially voted to ban transgender women from elite female competitions if they have undergone male puberty. In a decision the governing body said had been taken to protect the future of the female category. The clash between inclusion and competitive fairness will be discussed in Parliament next week, June 12th, as a part of the parliamentary debate on the Equality Act. The debate is a response to calls for clarity on the protections against sex discrimination and provisions for single-sex spaces relating to biological sex rather than the sex people identify as. Now, they made a linguistic mistake there, didn't they? Did anyone catch the linguistic mistake? Sex is not something you identify as according to the rules by the people who advocate for trans rights. Okay, they like to tell you that sex and gender are 2 different things unless it doesn't play to their advantage. Okay, now let's continue. For women in sport, this is a growing concern that has put many off competing. As they see it, new gender norms are turning women into spectators in their own competitions and undermining the huge progress that has been made in female sports over the last few decades. Here are the stories of 3 women. We'll only read one. You can read the others yourself. It'll be in the links at the end of the show. The imbalance of power felt so obvious to me, I couldn't bear it. I've hung up my football boots for good. Now, this is a soccer player, right? And this is someone named Maggie, who's 48 years old now. I was obsessed with football as a child. Again, the European and the rest of the world's version of football, Americans, soccer. When I say football in this article, I mean soccer. When I was 8, I joined the boys league because there were no teams for girls. I loved it and was hugely focused. So I never forget the day that I was told that FA rules had changed and I couldn't play anymore because there were no girls' changing rooms, and that at 11, I was too old to undress in front of boys. That's a turnaround there, right? It really affected me, and I think contributed to some teenage depression. So I was delighted to find my way back into the Women's Football League in my 30s. I spent many happy years playing with them, and until 2021, a trans woman joined our team. During the trials, something didn't feel right, but I told myself to check my biases or check your privilege. It was only during our first competitive match that I realized how unfair it was. We beat the team we were playing 6-2. And the trans woman scored all 6 goals. They were banging in goals from parts of the pitch I couldn't even have attempted, and the imbalance in power became so obvious to me when I saw them plow through players with no awareness of their physical advantage. I felt ashamed in front of the other team because of the unfair advantage we had. We were knocked out of the cup, but without the trans woman who knows what the score would have been. It is telling that none of the rest of us managed a single goal. I actually walked off the pitch 10 minutes into the second half because I couldn't bear it any longer. I later quit the team, and I've now hung up my competitive football boots for good. I strongly believe that the FA, that's Football Association, I believe, needs to look into similar regulations to the ones that they have in athletics. Ultimately, including transgender people in female sports categories is a barrier to participation for women. My experience as a child was a clear ban, but more subtle barriers manifested other ways. As an adult, I made the choice to self-exclude because of the unfair advantage my team had. Other women have done so because of shared changing facilities or the fear of getting injured on the pitch. There are also a number of young Muslim women in the league who may have had to overcome cultural barriers to join, and we shouldn't forget about them. Apparently, these are difficult views to hold in 2023, but all I know is that women deserve a playing field. Right? Then there's a couple others here, but you can read those yourself. One of them is probably one of the cycling people, I bet. Yep, that one. Because transgender cyclist Austin Killips won the women's event at the Tour de Gila. Fan-fucking-tastic, right? Mediocre man winning a women's cycling event. Congratulations. All right, let's move on because I'm running out of time. So we'll hit a few points. Nina Turner was trending the other day, yesterday, over the weekend or whatever, because she made a statement. First, she yelled at Ron DeSantis on Twitter saying, "Hey, Ron DeSantis, please define woke and don't use that cultural Marxism line because that means nothing." To which somebody replied, "Define woman," and then she says, "If someone says they're a woman, they're a woman. Not a tough concept." Well, that got a few people riled up. It sure did. Again, my friend, the blue-collar intellectual, that's complete bullshit. Women is not a social construct, but rather a state of biologically female possessing XX chromosomes of or denoting the sex, can bear offspring and produce eggs distinguished biologically by the production of gametes that can be fertilized by male gametes. Identify as whatever you want, but that doesn't change what the definition of a woman is. Your introspective identity doesn't change objective reality. Zuby also replied. So someone, that was not the best answer. Let me give the best answer. It's down here somewhere. Zuby showed that the fact that he identified for a woman for 15 minutes and broke the British deadlift record without even hardly trying. Where's the one that I really liked? Oh, if someone says they're Napoleon, they're Napoleon. If someone says they're a dinosaur, they're a dinosaur. If someone says they're a president, a moon, a dog, or a tree, they are. Do you really believe that? No. The best one was those. Oh, this one too. Oh, if someone says they're a tiger, are they a tiger? How far are we going to take this? But one of the better ones, where's the Rachel Dolezal one? Well, someone said, if someone says they're black, are they black? And then they mentioned Rachel Dolezal. Anyway, Nina Turner sometimes has good things to say, but sometimes she's just stupid. All right, moving on. Joe Walsh. Oh, fuck Joe Walsh. Nikki Haley was actually trending for a while because she did a town hall. And apparently she tried to define woke, and I don't think she did a very good job of it. Let's listen to her definition of woke, because a lot of politicians are talking about woke. And she kind of tried, but it didn't work out so well.
Define woke.
There's a lot of things. I mean, you want to start with biological boys playing in girls' sports. That's one thing. The fact that we have gender pronoun classes in the military now. I mean, all of these things that are pushing what a small minority want on the majority of Americans, it's too much. It's too much. I mean, the idea that we have biological boys playing in girls' sports, it is the women's issue of our time. My daughter ran track in high school. I don't even know how I would have that conversation with her. How are we supposed to get our girls used to the fact that biological boys are in their locker rooms? And then we wonder why a third of our teenage girls seriously contemplated suicide last year? We should be growing strong girls, confident girls. Then you go and you talk about building a strong military. How are you going to build the morale in a strong military when you're doing gender pronoun classes? Why is it that...
Yeah, some people agree with her there.
Why is it that you have, kids undergoing critical race theory where if a little girl's in kindergarten, if she's white, you're telling her she's bad. If she's brown or black, you're telling her she's never going to be good enough and she's always going to be a victim. All of these things have gone to where they are pushing, and transgender, the whole issue of the transgender, it's not that people don't think in America you should live the way you want to live. I want everybody to live the way they want to live. But stop pushing your views on everybody else. That's the problem, is they're starting to push everything on the rest of us.
Okay.
So, look, she didn't really define woke, but she gave some examples of it, right? The only thing I don't like about her answer is that there is an answer for that. And I've talked about it more than once on here, so I'm not going to do it right now. But, it's because it's the evolving agenda pushing of, hyper liberal things. And that's how these politicians define it. But woke didn't necessarily start that way. Woke was kind of a conscious idea that was kind of a black community thing. But it did evolve as white people started using the words, right? Or as a majority of the people started using the words, it took on a different connotation where conservatives use it to talk about things that are cultural-based issues that are so far from the norm or from the tradition that they seem silly. And so she gave some examples, the trans girls and boys sports, the anyway, she gave some examples there. So that's why she was trending over the weekend. Also, this is just I just want to look at this little part where James Comey is worried about Donald Trump being president, okay, or being president again, because James Comey is probably worried about the fact that Trump might have something for his ass. Listen to this.
You said that Trump poses a near existential threat to the rule of law. And
wait to see where he goes here, too. Wait till you see where he goes here.
And this is something...
existential threat to the rule of law. Listen to what Comey's answer is, because, there's some irony in this answer.
Similar language that I hear privately from national security officials, some people you and I both know, who will say this privately about what a second term could mean. But tell me a little bit about the specifics of what he could try to do. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like.
Stop it. I don't have to think what it looks like. I don't have to see what 4 years of a retribution presidency would look like. Do you know why I don't need to imagine it? Because it certainly seems to be happening right now. Right now. I'm gonna let you speak.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies. I'm sure I'm on the enemies list.
Really, could he? Is that happening right now?
Because the president constitutionally does oversee the executive branch entirely, which includes the Department of Justice, prosecutors and investigators.
And what is happening
and so he
right
could
now?
commission, direct that individuals be pursued.
Oh, you mean like James Comey, who lied in front of Congress? Oh, yeah, sure. Sounds like January 6th. Yes, Jaeger Pony kind of does, doesn't it? Wow. Self-awareness, James Comey. You might want to try some.
He could also direct all kinds of other conduct that people would maybe take to court to try to stop. But who enforces court orders? Mostly the United States Marshals Service, which is in part of the executive branch and reports to the president. And so President Trump could say, I don't care what the Supreme Court says or these district judges say.
Whoa, wait a minute. I don't care what the Supreme Court says? That sounds familiar. That really sounds familiar. Wasn't AOC saying something like that just a couple months ago? That we should just disregard the Supreme Court? Wow! This is amazing.
I'm telling the Marshal Service, don't enforce the court order. And so our Constitution really does give a rogue president, which is what this would be, tremendous power to destroy. And so that's why I'm trying to warn people. Given the way he said he intends to operate if he's reelected.
Or how the current president and Justice Department is operating.
This will be something we could never have imagined. Again, it seems like science fiction in a way.
No, it doesn't. It seems like you're describing what's happening.
But it's what another 4 years of Donald Trump really promises, which is why
James Comey's afraid to go to jail. That's what the problem is.
Why people criticize CNN for their town hall. I want the American people to stare at the threat that we're facing and understand that they cannot take the next election off.
You are a superstar. Okay, enough of that. Enough of that shit. All right. I'm out of time. Well, I'm going to keep going for a few minutes here because just to get through the last ones. This is yeah, this is more rainbow stuff. So this is at a school somewhere, and I'd take your kids out of public schools or demand they stop promoting this ideology. So here's at a school. You can't really see their faces. Look at this. This is Pride Month at an elementary school. Boy, oh boy, thank God. This is... Oh, I got the pride flags. Okay, I'm going to turn that off because, we're done with that. But anyway, so that's welcome to public school. Oh, I already have it in here twice. I'll just get rid of one of them. Let's see. This is CNN. Is saying, this weekend the Wear Orange campaign was happening all over the country, and I saw smatterings of people at various places, usually 30 or 40 people at any given place wearing orange shirts and talking about demanding action against gun violence, saying and CNN said that at least 95 shootings taking place over the weekend, right? 95 shootings in our country of 360 million people, 95 shootings. And I think about a third of those were I would say over probably 80% of those were in one of 5 urban areas where shootings take place more often. But anyway, there's a big old protest, and here's Dr. Nicole Webb, who I'm sure she's a medical doctor or something. Police search for suspects in a Texas mass shooting in Sunnyvale. What is this?
This weekend alone, nearly 100 people died from shootings in this country just this weekend, according to the Gun Violence Archive. Doctors who are...
Now, the Gun Violence Archive, well, that's another interesting thing, how they define mass shootings. But anyway.
On the front lines of this crisis, liken it to a deadly illness plaguing the country. Watch this report from our Josh Campbell.
Ah, yes.
This is the #1 cause of death of American children, which is...
That is a lie. Okay, now what they did, when they say this is #1 cause of death, first of all, it's not. It's when they made that, usually when they count children, they count 17 and under, right? In order to make this work, they also included the next level up, which is, I think it was 18 to 24. Which, yes, that generation, especially for black people in that age group, it is the #1 cause of death. and in particular, from 18 to 45 of black men, it's the number one cause of death. But they can't use that as their metric because children is much more effective. So they added in people that were not children to make this number one cause of death. And the number one cause of death of American children is ranch dressing. Yeah, you're close there, Uncle Bobbity. So anyway, so that's a actual, just, it's a falsehood that's been repeated over and over from the one time they presented the statistic, and then someone took that statistic. It's kind of like the wage gap. It's one of those things where, oh yeah, women make 77 cents on the dollar of men. Well, there's a little bit more nuance to that, but this one they actually just flat out lied with the statistics. So anyway,
just unacceptable.
Okay, I'm not going to watch the report. I can't do it. It's because this is CNN, and I'll probably just be pissed off. But anyway, yes, there were 95 shootings over the weekend, and again, a vast majority of them were in 5 cities, and again, guns are tools. So to call it gun violence still pisses me off. Remember, it's people violence. And maybe, in places where they've made law enforcement's lax, and where they have prosecutors that don't charge crimes, lower level crimes. Well, guess what? Lower level crimes go into bigger level crimes, and it's the same people doing it over and over. It's funny that what was the place? There was one couple. There was like 267 instances of theft in this one area. And I don't remember the city, and like 80% of them were the same 2 people, because they just keep getting letting them go. So that's just an interesting thing. All right, I'm gonna move on because I'm out of time. Other things in the trending things. Robert F. Kennedy tests the conspiratorial appetite of Democrats. The Washington Post has a hit piece on Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the fact that he's going to run against President Biden or is running against President Biden. He is going to be doing a Twitter Spaces, I think later today, with Elon Musk and the guy who did the Twitter Space with Ron DeSantis. So that should be interesting. If you're interested, try and find that. And I hope, here's my hope, because one of the Krasstein brothers was like, all right, do you like the idea that they're going to do a Twitter Space with Robert F. Kennedy? And I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I'm not a Democrat. I don't care if he wins a nomination. I think every politician should do that. I think it's one of the places where they have to be more honest. They're not going to get canned questions from the people who are there, because there's people who are going to come on and ask them, real questions from real people. Now, I don't want Robert F. Kennedy necessarily to be president, but if I was stuck with a Democrat, I might rather have him than the current dementia-addled sundowner that we have in the White House. Only because Robert F. Kennedy is kind of a fervent free speech advocate. And he doesn't play along well with certain things that I agree with. The rest, he's a really leftist lunatic, but I do appreciate him in a couple areas. Also, there's a couple funny videos. I don't have time, but this one in Minnesota, there's a site called Minnesota Crime, and they have this poor sheriff's deputy. Was wrestling with a suspect that he was trying to arrest. And what's crazy is so the guy gets away. And what's wild though, so you see this guy getting away. I'm going to put this on the screen now that they're done fighting. This guy runs away, and he's looking for a place to run. The sheriff guy is trying to catch him. And all of a sudden he runs across the street. He's being chased, and look, some random person stops and lets him get in their car and go off with him. So they never caught him. But they caught the car, probably a stolen car, because stolen cars are like a big trend in the Twin Cities right now. So that's unfortunate. But anyway, I just like, wait a minute. Now, if you're just driving down the freeway and you see a police stop, you see a guy run across the street that he's trying to arrest, would you let him in your car? I sure as hell wouldn't. Anyway, let's see, what else is the last thing on here? And that, finally, I'm going to finish with this. There's a couple other things in here, but I'm going to get rid of them. By the way, YouTube reverses this misinformation policy to allow U.S. election denialism, so you can question elections again on YouTube. Here's why I think they're doing it. I think they're doing it because they're going to allow Democrats to question elections now. See, they don't allow Republicans to question elections, but they're going to go back and start letting Democrats question elections. And I've already heard a lot of chatter from Democrats saying that Trump is in the process of trying to steal the next election. That's interesting. That's interesting that they're saying that, and they're saying that Republicans too, and not just Trump, but Republicans have a plan to steal the next election, which I've seen some Republicans say, look, these Democrats have been doing like ballot harvesting in a lot of these states, and there are a lot of states where ballot harvesting is illegal. And so now Republicans are starting to finally getting their act together and starting to put together organizations to do ballot harvesting. Ron DeSantis mentioned that the other day. Okay, so that's in there. And then finally, this is the last one I want to get through today. And it's a thread, but I'm not going to go through the whole thread. I'm going to get you just the main thing here. In 2020, California changed insurance language on double mastectomies for gender dysphoric females from cosmetic to reconstructive, so that they could remove age limits on the surgery. Normal breasts were classified as abnormal structures of the body caused by congenital defects. And if you don't believe me, here's the documents. Okay? This is nuts. Issue presented. May a health insurer deny coverage for male chest reconstruction surgery, mastectomy, and creation of male chest for female to male patients undergoing treatment for gender dysphoria based solely on the patient's age. And so it said, no, insurer may not deny coverage for a male chest reconstruction surgery for female to male patients undergoing treatment for gender dysphoria based solely on a patient's inability to meet a minimum age threshold, because insurers must consider a patient's specific clinical situation to determine actual medical necessity based on evidence-based standards of care. What? There is never, ever, 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 ever a medical necessity if it's just strictly for gender-based care. It is not a medical necessity. And then he highlights this part of it. Surgery performed to correct or repair abnormal structures of the body. Wait, the breasts are not an abnormal structure of the body on a female. By congenital defects, developmental abnormalities, trauma, infection, tumors, disease, to do either the following: to improve function, to create normal appearance to extent possible. The statute clarifies that the mandate in section blah, 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 does not require coverage for cosmetic surgery, which is defined as surgery that is performed to alter or reshape normal structures of the body in order to improve a patient's appearance. Then down here it says healthcare service related to gender transition, if coverable, is available for those services under the policy when the services are not related to gender transition, including but not limited to hormone therapy, hysterectomy, mastectomy, and vocal training. They're forcing insurance companies to pay for gender transitions now. As such, an individual diagnosed with gender dysphoria who is born with female characteristics and identifies as male, the presence of female chest is an abnormal body structure caused by gender dysphoria. No, the brain is the part that's abnormal, not the body parts. Holy shit. According to WPATH, the World Professional Association of Transgender Health, who is not a legal body, they're an activist organization. They have no function in government whatsoever. Standards of care expressly recommended mastectomies and creation of a male chest as a medically necessary surgical treatment of gender dysphoria for female and male patients who meet specific criteria. As such, an individual diagnosed with gender dysphoria who is born with female characteristics and identifies as a male, the presence of a female chest is an abnormal body structure caused by gender dysphoria. What state when I mentioned this was in? California. Guess what? I guarantee this same shit's going to happen in Minnesota because Minnesota tries to be California light, but usually they just outdo them. And maybe Michigan, maybe New York. That's how I'm going to finish today with my incredulity. Whatever. I'm incredulous. Or something like that. Now, before you even think of clicking a button, don't even do it yet. Wait. Stop. I see you. Don't you dare. Hit the like button. And I'm putting the links in the chat when I get done here. Okay? Got it? I got to go. Thank you for joining me on the Morning Night Live. Do all that stuff that I normally tell you to do. I'm late, so I'm just going to go. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.